Okay, shalom, shalom. It's the brother Kadash. Want to give our praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. That's where our power comes from, leading to the title of this video. This is just a response to the Edomite theologian that came up. He said he was a theologian. He was boasting. If you've seen the video, he was boasting a lot about how he probably read the Bible way more times than we read the Bible. And I was breaking down some things to him, which pretty much that's what this video right here I'm going to go into is pretty much those things, because of course we didn't get to finish because it got too hot in the kitchen and he had to flee. When certain things came out, he was getting cut left and right. When certain things came out, he pretty much had to flee. It was just getting way too hot. And the Lord put the spirit on us. And I want to say this too. It was great. Because we've been needing that. In the wintertime things kind of slow down. A lot of people don't really come up, and a lot of people just walking around in the wintertime. So, that's just a boost in spirit, and then the channel name is Israelite Covenant Oil. So, pursuant to Matthew chapter 15 with the 10 virgins, 5 had oil, 5 didn't, so that's what the channel is about, just giving brothers oil, which is just motivation, right? Motivation, the spirit, the truth, all that together, for brothers to keep going and finish their course, so sometimes things like this keep your sword sharp, you know what I mean? So he said he was a theologian, so when he first came down there, I think he pulled up. We didn't really notice him. I think he walked around, but he came down there just for us. Another brother seen this video, and the other brother said that he think that it was a possible agent, and it very well could be. It very well could be. I thought that it was one of these churchgoers that been seeing us down there on the highways and byways, and he finally got the courage to come up and try to challenge us, because he probably been seeing the whole Hebrew Israelite thing on the internet, right? So he said, look, I'm gonna come down there today. There's some Hebrew Israelites in my town. And the first thing he came down there, he asked, he said, what is this, man? He said, what is this? What are you doing? What are you guys doing out here? Which I love that question, because there's a lot of different answers to that, because there's a lot of different reasons why we're out there. To wake up the lost sheep, to spread the good gospel, a judgment, a sign for the judgment coming for the other nations. You see what I'm saying? Because we're following the law, statutes, commandments, and we're commanded to. So you could go down a lot of different topics, right? When that question is asked, I love that. So you come into the truth, or you studying truth, you need to figure out how to answer that question when somebody sees you on the highways and byways and they ask, "What are you doing? What is this?" Now, on the flip side, if it is an Israelite that asks that question, then that's when you go into Ezekiel 37, and then you teach them the 12 tribes chart, because that's what it says. They should come asking, what does this mean in Ezekiel 37, and then you break that down. We just giving all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, that he even gave us the wisdom and knowledge to be able to deal with people. And this is why I always tell brothers, you got to have great courage. Don't have fear. We know a lot more than these people know when it comes to the Bible. A lot of brothers kind of get scared. What if somebody comes up and asks them questions? But what you will realize once that happens is you will realize that that you're really miles ahead of these people when it comes to the knowledge of Bible. Once you start really studying to show yourself approved, right? So it's really like easy work. It really becomes easy work, And I'd have been out there for a while, years, on the highways and byways, and then encounter a lot of different people with a lot of different topics. From he says he's a theologian. We encounter a woman that says she studies prophecy, which is kind of similar to a theologian. We encountered the Kemetic people. We encountered a brother with the whole nature thing. We had Christians. We had Catholics come up. Man, we done encountered it all, really, just for the little time that we've been out there, right? So, what he was saying, how he read the Bible a whole bunch of times more than us, and he asked us a question, we would answer it. He didn't know it, and then after we answer it, he said, "Yeah, I knew that. I just wanted to see if you guys knew it." You see what I'm saying? So, but this is Romans chapter 3, right? It says, "What advantage then has the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because unto them were committed the oracles of God," right? So I told him, I said, there's men that done read the Bible for 40 years, 50 years. It don't mean that they read the truth, right? Because the truth was given to the Israelites, but not just the Israelites, but The elect, really, the ones that's going to really know the truth, because those are the ones that's going to follow the Lord. The 2/3, they not going to follow the Lord, right? They're going to be the ones when the famine of the word come in. They're going to go to and fro looking for the truth, but they're not going to be able to find it because the Lord is going to close the door on them, right? So, stand out there bold, right? Study so you could be ready, you know what I mean? And just believe, because the Lord is going to be there with you, There's a lot of precepts we quote that we don't actually get to bring out, because when you having a conversation, sometimes the conversation goes somewhere else, but you got to remember to actually read the Bible too. Actually bring out some precepts, even if you got to tell them to hold on. Tell them to hold on while you bring out the precepts that you need to bring out. You see what I'm saying? Because that's more important than just us having a conversations with them, or us just debating or talking with them. Let the word of the Lord reign, right? Right here, verse 4 in Romans 3. God forbid, no, verse 3, I didn't read verse 3, sorry. For what if some did not believe? Should their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? See, if you just talk and have a conversation with them, they could say, well, I don't believe that, right? But watch this. Verse 4, God forbid. Yeah, let God be true and every man a liar, as it is written. So you have to read it as it is written. Then you could go give your breakdown. It says that thou mightest be justifying thy saying. So we're justifying what we're saying because it is written. And most of the time when these wacky-tacky Christians or Catholics or theologians or whatever, scholars, when they come up, they go off their heart. That's what he kept saying. When he first came up, he said something about his heart and how it's in you. And then I instantly quoted, the heart is wicked, who can know that thing? Roughly paraphrasing, right? So that was a cut right away. That set the tone right there, right away, that we're not going to go off our hearts, right? And then we could have pulled the precept if we needed to, right? It says, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. So we said, look, we going as it is written. I didn't even get to go to Romans 3, right? Because the Spirit went somewhere else, and that's why I'm making this video, right? So one of the things I wanted to speak about which was one of the things we end up debating about, because I seen that he was coming with the spirit of, you shouldn't want to take anything from me, I shouldn't want to take anything from you. How fucking convenient is that when you rule the world? When you already took everything from everywhere around the world, and you have everything at your leisure, now you want to talk about this peace shit, and I shouldn't want to take anything from you, and you shouldn't want to take anything from me, when your people then already took the land. And that's what I told them about, that they already took the land. And you seen that video of me explaining that everything they got is stolen already. So if I come steal it back, is it really stealing, right? So we wanted to break that down, because, like, for example, his car that he pulled up, like people don't even understand how deep this is. This car that he pulled up in, you got to think about it. The metal that's in the car comes from the ground, right? The rubber, the O-rings, the gaskets, the rubber, whether it be in the dashboard and different components and stuff like that. All that comes from this land. The leather, whether he has leather seats, the leather comes from animals. You got different fluids in your car, right? That is mixed with water, and the water comes from where? It comes from the lakes and the rivers. So if you stole this land, right? All the materials that you use to create something still come from this land. So it don't matter if you use those materials that you stole to create something, which really they didn't even create, because we know that, a lot of these men that got credit, it was their slaves that actually came up with the inventions, black slaves, right? That product that you make still belongs to the true owner, even though that you took it and made something. I'll give you an example, right? If somebody breaks in your house, right, and they take over your house and everything that's inside of your house, right, and they go to your cabinet and they get some sugar and they pour sugar, in the container, right, and they pour the water in there and they shake it up and they make Kool-Aid. That don't mean that the Kool-Aid belongs to them, because they used the materials that was already stolen in the house. So really that Kool-Aid still belongs to you, because you're the owner of the materials. You see what I'm saying? So they could take things and make a car, right? They could take things and make a house. The house comes from wood. The wood comes from the trees, right? Or even if you look at the American dollar, that all belongs to the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. Because even the dollar the paper fiat currency comes from the trees, right? Which belongs to who? The Latino, Native American, and Negro, right? And then even when you looked at when it was backed with gold, they was getting the gold from the ground, right? So all that belongs to the Israelites still. Their currency belongs to the Israelites. Every product that they made on this land belongs to the Israelites. So we technically can't steal something from them. We can't steal something that already belongs to us. You see what I'm saying? So that's why the Lord is not considered. He say he comes back like a thief in the night, like a parable. But the Lord is not a thief, because when he comes back, everything that he's taken belongs to him anyways. The whole earth belongs to the Lord, and really it belongs to the Israelites too. If we want to get serious about it, right? But we know that these nations, like I said in the video, they got their own lands and stuff like that. So therefore, they will have to go back to the land of Edom, and they will have to produce from the land of Edom, right? For it to be righteous in a way. Anything they produce from this land belongs to the Israelites. It don't matter if they take the materials and create things out of it. You see what I'm saying? So every day he gets in his car and he drives and he see how easy and better his life and quality of life is compared to, man in the 1400s and 1500s that had to ride horses, because he could just turn the key fob and the car turns on. He put gas in it, he could drive it. Every day he gets in that car, he should be thanking the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? He should be giving thanks, say, look, man, I want to thank the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because this land, without this land and the materials from this land, I wouldn't be able to have this car that I'm driving in, and he should give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, because even the other nations are going to have to worship our Lord, just like we have to follow their laws and statutes and commandments, right? In their wicked kingdom, they're going to have to follow ours in our kingdom, in our righteous kingdom, right? So one of the things he tried to say, of course, was, the land actually belonged to Indians. Nah, but when you look at who you call so-called black man today, a lot of black men actually go back to the Gadites, which are Native Americans. How many people you got in your family that could trace themselves back to Native Americans, like whether it be the Cherokee tribe. I know growing up around friends and even family, we had people that was like, yeah, she got Cherokee in her. Matter of fact, my cousins, their father, right, which you take from your father's seed, their father was Jamaican. You see what I'm saying? And then especially when you throw in the Latinas in there, a lot of men that are considered that you would call a black man are actually Latino men or Native American men. People don't really know it. Like Pop Smoke, if I'm not wrong, I don't know if it's his mother or his father, but I think he's Latina. When you look at people like Fat Joe, clearly Latina. When you look at the rapper Fabulous, anybody around the world would look at him and say, oh, that's a black man, but I don't know for sure if it's his father or his mother, but it goes by the seed, but I know he's half Latina, right? It's just like if you look at if you like, just like my kids, my wife is Latina, but if you look at my sons, you might mistake them for Latina, but not even knowing the whole time that they're Judites. You see what I'm saying? So the tribes, we mixed, we come in different shades of brown, and that's what I explained to them. So technically, the land belongs to the Negroes too, because you had Negroes that was all so-called Negroes, so-called black people that was already over here, and you have black people come in slavery on ships, at the same time. And anything that belongs to the other tribes belong to all the tribes, because what it say in Ezekiel 37, the Lord said that he's going to take the two sticks and he's going to make them one in the land, right? So if the Native Americans, if this land belongs to the Native Americans, then it belongs to all the rest of the tribes too of Israel. That's how it works, because we're the people of Israel, right? So there was a split in the kingdom, northern kingdom, southern kingdom, but the Lord said in Ezekiel 37, right? That's the Lord's words, right? We're going to say that because all the words is inspired by the Lord, right? Like it said in Ezekiel 37, he's going to cut it off from being the northern kingdom and southern kingdom and bring them back together as just the children of Israel, the same way they were in Egypt. You see, so that's how it's actually going to work. So yeah, if it is the Indians' land, then that means that it's all the rest of the tribes' land too. That's how it works, man. Because that's the way that the Lord looks at it. Right now, if what you got to watch out, they slick when it comes to this. If you have let's just say a Native American during the time they were getting conquered, right? Colonized, right? They say things like, well, your father's traded this land. No, you know what Esau do, man. He sends in puppet governments, right? And he sends in traders that work their way up to the top and then make a deal with them to sell the land. So you can't go off that. And it don't matter what a human do. If there was Native Americans that sold some of their land to the Edomites, that don't mean that the Lord still looks at it as, okay, now this is the Edomites' land because they brought the land from the Native American. A Native American, the leader, could sell the land, right, to some Edomites, and the Lord could still look at that land as belonging to these people. And if the Edomites move in that land, they could still be in violation. That's why the Israelites, we can't sell Israel because it's not up to us. You know, we can have our top high priest in Israel, and we live in Israel and be in Israel, and our top high priest could say, look, I want to sell this land, and everybody could say, look, we're going to follow whatever the high priest say. He could say, I want to sell this land to the Edomites, and the Edomites come moved in, and the Lord's going to judge their asses, right? Because the Lord look at that land as the Lord said that land was the land of for the Israelites. You see what I'm saying? So it don't matter what a human does, it matters how the Lord sees it. He still sees that as the land for Israel. So they'll try to use that, and my reason why I'm bringing that up is they'll try to use that to say, well, there was Indians settling land. Don't matter. The Lord said that this is their land. You see what I'm saying? And the Lord, whether they sold it or not, the Lord still looked at it as their land. You see what I'm saying? So you got a problem with the Lord, first off. So let's get into some more precepts, because this is really good. I was thinking about this last night, you know, so that's how you know it was really, really good. You know, kind of damn near in my sleep, just rehearsing, you know, what to say, and damn, I should have said this, I could have went this, I could have went that way. You know, that's sharpening your sword, right? And there's so much in Habakkuk chapter 2, I want to get straight to the point, right? Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. It says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city with iniquity. So it says, woe to him, right? So there's a judgment coming to him. He wants to escape his judgment now that he has everything. He wants to talk about this whole love stuff. You shouldn't want to do nothing to me. I shouldn't want to do nothing to you. We just all one people, one human race type shit. And he said that, and I cut him. As soon as he said that, I cut him. Right? I said, no, there's different nations of people on earth. Right? And the easiest one to go to, which most people agree with, is Ishmael, right? So most of the time when you go to Ishmael, nobody's going to argue that. You know, when you go to Ishmael and say, look, no, there's different type of people. There's Israelites. There's a people called that come from Ishmael, and then you say the Arabs, and you know, you say they even admit themselves that they come from Ishmael, and then people just have to really kind of like agree with it and be like, yep, you're right, and then you prove a point, like, look, so there's not just one type of people, there's different types of people. Have you read the Bible? Right? And then if you want to go even farther into a deep cut, then you could go into Galatians chapter 4, and it shows that Ishmael can't inherit the promise, right? Which shows you that it would be incorrect for you to say all nations could be saved, because now according to Galatians 4, which is New Testament, because they try that too, right? You would have to say all nations but Ishmael could inherit the promise. Right? And then when you go to Romans 9, that cuts off the rest of the nations, right? So that's just how it works, man. You see how easy this is, right? So I'm gonna go back to Isaiah 61. This is the last precept we left off on when we was cutting him. Now Isaiah 61 was cutting him so bad and so deep he had to run off. He said, man, y'all have a good day, and he ran off, man. Isaiah 61 was cutting his spirit so bad, and we got halfway through it. So I'm just going to finish up where we left off at, which was this one. Verse 5, and a stranger shall stand and feed your flock, and the sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and vine dressers. Earlier in the verse 3, it says, he will appoint into them that mourn in Zion, which is hinting towards the Israelites, right? So when it says the strangers, it's talking about anybody outside of the nation of Israel shall stand and feed your flock. He ain't want to hear that, because not just because it's coming from my mouth, right? If it was coming from my mouth, he could just say he don't believe it. But since it was coming from the Bible, you see what I'm saying? So they see us as young men. They want to come up and try us, even though we're not young men. I'm damn near getting old. Like, I'm finna be in my 30s. I'm like, I just look really young. I may look like I'm 24 or 23, but shit, we grown ass men. You know what I mean? And then a lot of them come up there. Like, he tried to grab the Bible on this picture that you're seeing. He tried to grab Quanah's Bible. So he walked around for a little bit before he came up there. So he had the whole script in his head that, okay, I'm going to come up there. I'm going to grab these kids' Bible and open their Bible up and teach them their Bible. And that shit didn't work out that way. Then he seen how much wisdom and knowledge we had. And then he just got cut. And he had to, run off with his tail between his legs, Okay, so let's keep going. Right, and the sons of the alien should be your plowman, your vine dresser. This start cutting the Edomites, right? It says, but ye should be named the priest of the Lord. Man should call you the ministers of God. So it's showing you a difference. Some people going to be slaves, and then the Israelites are going to be named the priests of the Lord. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. So we didn't even get to that because I was going to cut his whole argument. Right? Because it says, look, the riches of the Gentiles. What does it mean when it says we should eat the riches of the Gentiles? Are we literally going to eat? Well, yeah, because we're going to have, like it says, we're going to have feast in the kingdom, right? And those are riches. Food is considered riches, right? Because animals, I'm forgetting the word, but animals are considered wealth, sheep, goats, all that shit, is considered wealth too, right? So, but it's to the point, like he said, like, oh, you shouldn't want to take nothing from me, man. We gonna take everything, but we ain't even gonna have to take it because y'all gonna come giving it, right? It says, in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. So we gonna do both. Y'all gonna give it and we gonna take it. It says, for your shame ye shall have double. So they hate these precepts because when you break it down that this is talking about the so-called black man, you start to paint a picture in their head. And what they're seeing is the black man get that glory. They see, okay, the black man is shameful today, but look, he's going to have double. For your confusion, they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore, in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. They definitely don't want the black man having everlasting joy. That's even why with Black Wall Street, they had to come burn that shit down because it's just the hate that's in Esau, right? And even when you look at the book of Job, it's pretty much talking about that same thing, how the nation of Israel is going to get everything back that we lost, plus more. Some scriptures say times 7, some say double. Matthew 19 says 100-fold, but the point is we going to get it all back plus more that our hearts could even ask for, right? For I, the Lord, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offerings, right? And that's what these Edomites done over here, right? But going to Isaiah 34, the Lord said he going to make the whole mystery Babylon a burnt sacrifice, right? It says, and I will direct thy work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them, right? Which is the new covenant, which is talking about who? The Israelites, right? It says, and their seed should be known among the Gentiles, right? So seed is talking about a people. Say they seed should be known among the Gentiles. They ain't saying all the rest of the other nations are also going to be saved with the Israelites. No, you got to know when the word Gentile is talking about the other nations, and then when it's talking about the Israelite foreigners. Just like a brother that's not in the truth today, he will be considered a Gentile, but he may be an Israelite by blood still. Just because it says Roman, Greek, or even today, if it says American or Mexican, don't mean that he's not an Israelite. That's just talking about his citizenship. So people will see Roman or see Greek, and then they say, look, that's a man of another nation. No, he could be an Israelite by blood, but his citizenship, he's a citizen just like me. I'm a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah, but I'm also an American. Okay, so since I'm an American, does that mean I'm another nation from Israel? No, it don't mean that. And that's what these wacky tacky Christians and Catholics don't understand, and that's why we always have the advantage over them. It says, and their offspring. So when you start seeing the word seed and offspring, just like in Romans 9, it's telling you something. It's telling you that the Lord is choosing a people over other people. So when it says in their offspring among the people, who's the people? Everybody outside of Israel, right? And it's showing you that it's by the seed, which is what we say. What do we say? We say salvation is for the Israelites. That means the seed of Israel, of the man Israel, the 12 tribes and their seed. That's all we say, and that's what the Bible says. It says all that see them shall acknowledge them. So it's showing you a difference. When people see them, and it says all the other people of the earth see them, they gonna acknowledge them. We're gonna be acknowledged, right? Whether they do us like the Pope when we come through the cities, they everybody come out on the streets and bow down and but it says, matter of fact, we're gonna go to Isaiah 60. Remember that, because we finna go to Isaiah 60 next. It says that they are the seed which the Lord has blessed. So it didn't say that the Lord's gonna choose Edomite seeds. He gonna choose some Ishmaelite seeds. He gonna choose some Israelite seeds. He's gonna choose them, mix them together, right? No, it says that the Lord's going to choose a certain seed, which we all know, if you a scholar of the Bible, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. That's the seed. That's the bloodline, right? So he's going to choose that. And that leads you to what? The 12 tribes of Israel, which are called Israelites, Hebrew Israelites. And then the other people are going to know that the Lord blessed this certain seed, these certain people, which is the same thing it says in Ezekiel 37. Right, the Lord should sanctify thee, and the heathen should know that I, roughly paraphrasing, I love thee or chose thee, right? And when he chooses them, he's choosing them over the other nations, just like going back to Deuteronomy 7:6. It says, I will greatly rejoice in the Lord, my soul should be joyful in my God, for he has clothed me with the garment of salvation. So it's telling you who salvation is for. He has covered me with a robe of righteousness. So we know that this is a prophecy that has not happened yet. So this is a future prophecy, because he said, what does Isaiah, we're reading in the book Isaiah, what does that have to do with, he said, Jesus Christ? I said, look, bro, we just went to Luke 4:17 to show you that this is what Jesus Christ was teaching. That's what it has to do. And if you know the Bible, you would never ask such, if you're a real theologian, how can you ever ask a dumb question like that? How does it not have to do with Jesus Christ? Who's going to be the one that saves them? What does the word Yahushua means? To deliver. He delivers, he saves. It says, he has covered me with a robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments. Who's that? You see? And as a bride, right, adorneth herself with her jewels. So who's the bridegroom? Would you say how? So why would you even ask a question like, what does us reading Isaiah 61 has to do with Jesus? It has a lot to do with it. What are you talking about? It says, for as the earth bringeth forth her buds, and as a garden causes the things that are sown in it to spring forth, for the Lord God will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all nations, right? So what the wacky tacky Christians don't like is prophecy. So when you see a lot of their ministries and their teaching, they don't really teach too much about prophecy. But because they're running from prophecy, because the truth comes out when you go into prophecy, right? That's also what gives us our advantage over them. If you study prophecy, no wacky tacky Christian or Catholic is going to be able to stand in front of you, right? And that's why I'll be having such a fun time cutting them up whenever they come to me. You might say, damn, he's a young man, how is he cutting them up? So because I studied prophecy, like my spirit was always drawn when I came into the truth. Some brothers, there's different offices, right? Some brothers is good with spiritual things, some brothers is good with the Hebrew, some brothers is good with history, some brothers is good with giving brothers that oil, motivating brothers. Some brothers is really good readers, some brothers is really good teachers. Me, I was really, my whole thing is prophecy. So that was my whole thing. You know what I mean? You got to be all around, but you may have one attribute about you that stands out from the rest, and prophecy would be mine. Now let's go to Isaiah 60, verse 12. Straight to the point. For the nation and kingdom that would not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall. Well, matter of fact, let's go to verse 11. See, I was finna get to this next. Let's go to verse 10. Right? Isaiah 60, verse 10. I was finna get to this next and cut him up, but I didn't even get the chance to do it, man. Because he ran off, right? So it says, the sons of the stranger shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have mercy on thee. So the other nations are going to build up our walls. Are they going to have to follow our Lord and follow our law, statutes, commandments? Yes. right? Now, verse 11, therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that man may bring into thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Right? So our gates are going to be open, just like I said back in Isaiah 61. Remember that. Our gates are going to be open because not only are they going to bow down to us and stuff like that, whether they do it like the Pope or nothing, but they're going to be bringing things to offer to us. So when we come through the city, they may be giving offerings to us. You know, it says, "For the nation and kingdom that would not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations should utterly be wasted." When is this talking? What is this talking about? This is clearly talking about the kingdom of heaven when we get in power. This is a future prophecy that has not happened yet. So the other nations in the kingdom, they're not going to be saved or inherit the promise of Israel with us. All the other nations, they had their promises. So now you telling them that they could get in on a promise to Israel? That don't even make sense. Then how will it be a promise to Israel? The promise to Israel is only for Israel, right? So the other nations, right? How do you wacky tacky Christians explain this prophecy, right? The other nations and the kingdoms, it says they're gonna have to serve us, and they don't, they're gonna perish. What's that? That's slavery, right? Because if those nations, it says those nations should utterly be wasted. So how the fuck they get salvation with us? Also, you saying, okay, so some individual, let's just say some individual Edomites, Caucasian men, right? So they gonna get saved with us, right? And then they gonna be arm to arm with the Israelites in the kingdom, right? Ruling, right? And while their people is in slavery under the Israelites. The Lord is not the author of confusion, man. That don't even make no sense. So they gonna be with us, putting their own nation in slavery. So you say any nation could be saved. So there's gonna be Edomites in the kingdom ruling with the Israelites. That's gonna have the majority of the nation of Edom in slavery. But there's gonna be a minority of the nation of Edom that has converted to being Israelites now. That's gonna have their own people by blood in slavery. You see how fucking dumb that sounds, man? Come on, man. We already got the example of the Tower of Babel when all nations was together. What did the Lord do? He stopped it. So why would the Lord stop that, right? Split them up if he was just going to turn around and then in the kingdom of heaven make that be the same thing? No, man, you're on that mystery Babylon juice. You're drinking from that cup. That's the cup that Esau puts out there, where he says, "Look, I want all," just like America. "I want all nations to be together." That's because he wants to have power over them, man. You're drinking from that. You got to wake up out of that, man. And they do it through their churches, whether it be the Christian church, Catholic church, right? Now let's keep going. The glory of Lebanon should come into thee, the fire tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. This ain't happened. This is talking about the kingdom of heaven, right? Verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee. Wait, it said the sons of them that afflicted thee. So if you say the so-called Negroes are the Israelites, then we know who afflicted us. There's only one person. It's who the person on the number one list. I ain't gonna say the only one person, because all the nations afflicted us. But who's number one on the list that did the most affliction to the so-called black man? Whoever that is, it says the sons also of them that afflicted thee should come bending into thee. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to come bending the knee into us, not get saved with us, not inherit the promise of everlasting life in the kingdom with us. They're going to come bending to us because we're going to have that power and that promise, right? Why would they come bending to us if they people got that promise too? Then they could just pick the Edomites that got saved, and they could just come bending to their own people. It don't make no sense, man. It says, "And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet." So if you say the so-called Negroes are the true Israelites, who despise us? It don't take no rocket science. Just no astro. What's the name? I can't pronounce it. Astrophysicist or some shit like that, man. to figure it out, man. Right? It says, "And they should call thee," so it's making a difference, a separation. They say, look, these other people are going to call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of who? Of Israel. Which is telling you, salvation is for who? The Israelites, man. I mean, and it just keeps going and on and on and on and on. I jump straight to the point. Verse 21, thy people should be all righteous, right? So we know going to Zechariah 14 that there's still going to be punishment for the other nations on the earth. If they don't come up, they don't get no rain, they get plagued. But the Israelites are going to be all righteous. So it's showing you a difference, right? The Israelites are not going to be punished because they're going to be all righteous. But the other nations, even though they're going to have to follow our Lord, they're not going to be perfect. So they're still going to be punished. You see the difference? You see the separation there? They shall inherit the land forever. How are you going to say Edomites, Ishmaelites, Moabites are going to inherit the land of Israel, a land that don't belong to them, a land that was given to the Israelites? That's another sign that salvation is only for the Israelites. Like, come on, man, don't make no sense. Like, so they from the land of Edom, but they finna be saved with the Israelites, and now they finna go back and inherit the land of Israel. Come on, man. It says in the day, and as a matter of fact, if you understand what's that, Amos chapter 9, I believe, the Israelites are going to take over these other these lands, the land of Edom, right? They took over our lands, didn't they? Okay, right? They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. So when it says they shall inherit the land forever, that's what you call a prophecy that has not happened yet, right? So we know that we right on with this is something that's gonna happen in the future. A little one shall become 1,000. A little one's gonna become 1,000 by the way of what? By having sex in the kingdom. Men are gonna have sex with women. Polygyny is gonna be at an all-time high grade. Men are gonna have sex with men are gonna have multiple. I mean, we're gonna be a nation of kings and priests. What do kings have? Kings have multiple wives. So men are gonna have multiple wives, concubines, and they're gonna be getting them pregnant, and that's how you're gonna rebuild the kingdom. So you're gonna have a remnant of Israelites to save. You're gonna have more women than men. That's why in Revelation 17, I mean in 7, it says the 144,000, and then it says a mixed multitude, which is women, children, and other men, right? And these men are gonna give these women, they're gonna have children. It says a small one, a strong nation. So we're gonna be small, but then we're gonna grow to a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in His time, and the way that the Lord is gonna hasten it in His time is Matthew 19. If you should lose houses, you should lose wives for my sake, you should receive 100-fold. So when brothers receive 100-fold woman, then they're gonna have a lot of kids, and that's gonna build the nation back up strong in a very fast time. And then that's when Isaiah 4:1 comes in. 7 women should take hold of one man, saying, let us just be your wife to take away our reproach, right? So with that, I'm gonna say salvation to the elect. Hopefully this was edifying. Shalom.